are still joining.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Wait, good afternoon, dear. So we'll just wait for 2 minutes for the students and then we'll start. Okay, so we did till third level, or we have to start with third level? Anybody can please tell me where did we ended up on Wednesday? Anybody remembers? Yes, please.
We did 2 poems from Flamingo and first chapter of Flamingo and first chapter of Vistas.
Okay, great. Thank you, dear. That means we are over with the third level. We've done third level. So we have to start with the next chapter. And the next chapter is the Lost Spring. Okay. So when you're talking about this chapter, Lost Spring, it's written by Annie's Jung, right? And it is one of the autobiographical chapter where Annie's Jung is sharing her life's experience, kind of life experience, right? And all those things are being mentioned in this chapter. Now, firstly, when we talk about the spring, what is spring? Spring is a season where what do you find? You find everything seems fresh. Yes. So when we talk about this season, spring season, now they have compared this spring. She's compared this spring with the lives of the children, right? That each and every child has to start a life with a new thing in their lives. So that is why it has been compared, or I would say it refers to the lives of the children. But now over here, when he says the lost spring, this lost spring means that there are some children who've lost their childhood, right? Or they have not basically they've not lived their childhood, right? So they have not lived their childhood as we do. See, childhood is the only time period where you people can enjoy each and every moment of your life, right? Whatever you want, you get. So that many things. You are energetic, and you even do not feel fatigue. So you are not even burdened with things. So when we're talking about this lost spring, which means when he says that spring refers to children, so that means the life of the children are lost now. They are not able to live the life as they were living earlier, right? So over here, she says that she has written this chapter into two different stories, and this chapter talks about two characters. One is Pooh, one is Sahib. Sahib, he's the rag picker, right? And the other one who is what? Typing it. Okay. Another one who is Mukesh, right? He is working in the bangle making uh, profession. Sahib who wants to study basically, but he is not having that good environment, or he would, or you can say that he is not having those opportunities to study, so he is doing this rag picking work. Mukesh, he wanted to be a motor mechanic, but he is doing the family business, that is bangle making, right? So the story, first story where it is all about sometimes I find a rupee in garbage is of Sahibe Alam. Sahibe Alam, who is a rag picker. Sahibe's home was in Dhaka, right? He used to live in Dhaka. So let's just even write a few things. Right? He used to live in Dhaka, and that too in the middle of the green fields, right? And when we talk about middle of the green fields, that means what? Anybody? Surrounded by the greenery, right? And then what happened after many years? These people have to leave that place, and just because of the storm, and that storm destroyed their homes and their field, right? So they have to shift to the other place, and now they are living where? They are living in Simapuri. So after the storm, everything got destroyed their homes and fields, shifted to Simapuri, outskirts Delhi, right? So this chapter is all about this young boy, Sahib, who used to live with his family in Dhaka. And one day, when a storm came, and that storm basically destroyed each and everything of theirs, their home and their fields, right? So now they had left with nothing. So they had left their homes and they shifted to the cities in search of gold. So now over here, when they're talking about this gold, the gold means their survival, right? For them, if even a 1 rupee coin is also a gold, because with that 1 rupee coin, they can buy something and they can eat something, right? So one day, the author, that is Anis Jung, she meets Sahib on the way and asks Sahib that what is the reason for you that you're shuffling the garbage. So Saib replies that I have nothing else to do. This is the work that I always do. So author says that why aren't you going to school? So she actually realizes that the boy is very poor. So maybe because of poverty, he's not able to go to school, right? But then the boy replies that there is no school in the nearby area where he lives. So the poet, sorry, so the author says that if I make that school for you, will you be able to go to the school? If I built a school nearby your place, will you be able to go to school? So he says yes, right? And the author leaves. After few days, when Anis Jung was going through, she was passing the same way, she was going through the same way. Sahib was running there only, and when Sahib saw that she was crossing, Sahib went running to her to ask whether her school is ready or not. So at that time, author took a lot of time to speak, but then author replied that it takes a lot of time to build the school, right? And she felt ashamed of making a false promise. She just mocked that by saying that if a school is built, will you be able to go? Because she had no idea about it, that how serious Sahib was regarding learning of things, right? So she just said that agar wo ban jayega, to will you be able to? So he said, yes, I will. And now when she was crossing, Sahib asked that is your school ready? So she was not able to say anything, and she took a lot of time. And when she said that it takes a lot of time to build a school. So, and she even felt guilty at that particular time. So author asked him his name, that what is your name? So he replied that my name is Saibe Alam. And then author thought that boy did not know the meaning of his name, and if he gets to know about it, what his name meant, Sahibe Alam. Sahibe Alam means Lord of the universe. So he won't even able to believe it, because when his name is Sahibe Alam and he's Lord of Universe, but he's not getting anything to even fulfill his dreams, and he's what not only his dreams, he's not even getting food to eat to just basically fulfill the desires of his family too. So he went around the street with a group of friends. Sahib used to move around with his friends in that particular street, and there's an army of boys, and they do not wear this footwear. They just roam here and there, barefooted, right? So one day, this author asked them that why they're not wearing the footwears. So just the boys just replied that his mother did not get them down from the shelf, though they do not have the slippers. So they just have to lie to the other peoples, and they just say that my mother was not able to provide me those slippers, and all the slippers were lying on that shelf, so she did not give it to me. And the other boy who was wearing a different shoe in each of the foot said that even if his mother would have given him the footwear, he would have thrown it away. So he says कि अगर मेरे को दिया भी होता, ये ऐसा दिया होता जिसमें एक पैर अलग और एक पैर अलग है, both the both the foot are different, then I would have returned it. I would have thrown it away. So the writer asked the other boy the reason for wearing the different shoes in each foot. So he did not reply. But the third one says that he was eager to get the pair of shoes. So basically, what happens? They say that they at least he's getting something. The other two were not getting. The second one, who was wearing those two shoes, different shoes, he was not able to reply anything because he felt that people will make fun of his whatever he'll say. So the third boy who was there with them, he replied that he was eager to get the pair of shoes. So the day he got, he started wearing it up. So author had seen these children walking barefooted in cities and in the villages, and she concludes that maybe it has become a tradition for them and they are used to it now, and they are just basically excusing, or they're just hiding the fact that they are very very poor, that they can't even afford a footwear, right? So then writer narrates a story, the story that was told to her by a man from Udupi, right? Now, N.A. Jones basically narrates this story. This is something else in the part of this where we were talking about Sahibe Alam. And she remembers that there was a man who was from Udupi, and who had told her about this particular scenario that's going to be there. He said that on the way to school, he would cross a temple where his father worked as a priest. So that man told the author that when he used to go to school and he used to cross the temple, he used to see he used to see the temple where his father used to work as a priest. So he would stop at the temple and pray to God to bless him with the pair of shoes. So every day while crossing the temple, he used to pray to God to please provide him with the pair of shoes. So now she says that after 30 years, the writer basically visited the town and the temple, and now the place was nearly empty, and there was a young boy coming running basically, and he was wearing the green colored school uniform, socks, and shoes. And the priest could not afford the shoes for children, but the rag pickers still remained shoeless. Now just imagine, now the things have changed, and the priest could now even afford the shoes for their children. Earlier they were not even able to. But if now the priest can afford the shoes for their children, but these rag pickers are still without the shoes. So the writer over here describes the area where these boys live. They are living in the outskirts of Delhi, which is like very filthy, very dirty, and these people are like living illegally in Simapuri from last 30 years, and there are all around 10,000 rag pickers living all together, and they have occupied an area without any permission, any government permission. But these politicians have provided them with the ration identity card, and why they have provided? To fulfill their own motive, politicians' motive. Their motive is to cast to get the votes in favor of them, right? So they have provided them with the voter identity card so that they can get the groceries and they get the seeds and everything. And with that, in return, they can ask for the votes in favor of them, so that which is helpful for them, right? So even the author asked a group of ladies, that why did they leave their home in Dhaka and why they've shifted here. So when she asked, each of them replied that over there they were not even able to fulfill their dreams. They were not able to satisfy their family, just because that storm has destroyed each and everything, their fields and their homes. At least now, though they are doing rat picking, at least they are able to satisfy the hunger of their families and they can sleep well at night. They are eating one or two times food, but over there everything was ruined, and they were not having any food to eat. So these people basically travel in search of food from one place to another, and wherever they get food, they try to set up their temporary homes and they start living over there, right? So their children actually keep on growing there only, and they start helping their parents so that they can have a proper survival, because they know the scenario, they know the condition of their family, so they start working. So same is the case with Sahib also. Sahib was very happy to say that sometimes he used to find a rupee or a 10 rupee note when he's searching in the garbage dumps, right? And finding out the things which are helpful for him. And at that time he used to pick those notes up and he used to give it to his parents so that he can help his parents, and they can improve their livelihood. So one winter morning when I was standing by the fence of the club, so he was watching the tennis club, right? And he used to like that play, but he cannot play that game. So he was told that he told that he wanted to go inside, but he goes inside only when the club is closed and when there are nobody playing inside the club. So even he was allowed to take swings by the guard. So the writer says that Sahib was also wearing one day Sahib was also wearing this tennis shoes. So she asked that from where did you get these shoes. So Sahib told that he has just got these shoes, which are the discarded shoes, and he's liking those shoes. So he was wearing. So basically, she figured it out that it might be of some rich person who has just discarded the shoes just because of a hole in that shoe. And Sahib decided to wear those shoes instead of walking barefooted, right? So he just wears those shoes, and the dream of his of wearing those shoes has been fulfilled now. Now, the other morning again, the author meets Sahib, who was on his way to the milk booth. Now, Sahib has got a job at the milk booth, and he was holding a steel container get 800 rupees, and where he'll be given a meal for all the times, right? But over here she felt that now he is not working in the same manner as he was working earlier. Now he has lost his carefree look. Earlier when he was doing rag picking, it was his wish whether to go in the morning or the afternoon or whatever it is. But now and what he wants to choose, and whether he wants to do the rat picking or not that particular day. So he was his own master. But now what has happened, now he is burdened with the responsibilities, the responsibilities that he has to work according to the person who is providing him the job, right? So now he was no longer his own master. So this is, sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. And the next one of this is, I want to drive a car. Now, the other boy to whom author met was Mukesh. Mukesh wanted to become a motor mechanic. His dream was to basically drive a car, but each and everything was in the midst, and what he wanted to do, he was not able to do just because of his family. And as his family was known for bangle making. So then author tells us that Firozabad, where the bangles are being made, there are bangle factories, bangle industries, right? Is one of the main towns of India for the glass, and where there are so many blowing industries, and the families are even involved in making bangles since generations, right? So they made so many bangles that it seemed that they were made bangles for all the women of the world. So they are making bangles for the women so that they can wear those bangles. And they did not know that it was unlawful to force the children to work in such glass furnaces. Why? Because when you're working here, what happens is that when you're working for the bangle making and you're making those bangles, then it becomes very difficult for you, and you might even lose your eyesight, right? Why? Because it's like there's thousands of children and who are working here, and they just end up losing their eyesight. So Mukesh was happy as he took the writer to his home, and they walked down the streets which were full of garbage and gave foul smell. And he took to his house, which was like half made and half constructed, I would say. And where he just pushed the door with his foot and to open it up, and where he showed that there was partially constructed house, half constructed house. And there was in the one corner there was firewood stove with a dead grass, and where there was a thin young lady cooking the evening meal. And that evening meal which she was cooking for the family, and her eyes were full of smoke emanating from the stove. So she was working very hard for the family. And now who's this lady? This lady is Mukesh elder brother's wife, who was cooking, who was taking care of the three men in the family: Mukesh, Mukesh's elder brother, and Mukesh's father. Right. So she was taking care of these three people, and she was working for them. She was daughter-in-law of that family. And as Mukesh's father entered the house, this thin young girl actually hid herself behind the walls and covered her face, because it was a tradition that if any elder people come, or the if any elder people come nearby to them, then she has to hide herself and hide her face as well. So all the elder people, all these people were involved in making bangles. So in fact, he had worked hard all his life, and now, firstly, he was a tailor, and now he was a bangle maker, right? But Mukesh grandmother says that he was destined to make bangles, and as it was as it was their family tradition. Over here, when they're talking about he is the father who was first a tailor, and then he was involved into bangle maker, Mukesh's father, right? Just because it was their family tradition. But now he says that all their lives that they've just seen these glass bangles only, and they have seen it everywhere. In fact, author describes the environment where these bangle makers work. They tell that there is a small dark huts, and all the parents and the children all are working all together to make these bangles, small circled bangles. And many of them even lose their eyesight before gaining their adulthood also. And there's a young girl named Savita She's even sitting with an elderly old woman and joining the pieces of these pieces of glass to make the bangles. And her hands are moving so fast, that which shows that she's working like a machine and she's used to it, and she's been doing since her childhood, since she's born, right? So the writer actually wonders if Savita knew that bangles were sacred. How sacred that when she'll be grown up, and when she'll become a bride, she'll realize that all these bangles are made for them, and what are the importance of these bangles. And the elderly woman who's sitting next to Savita, now she is and she was even a bride many years ago, and she's still wearing those glass bangles. But what has happened, she has lost her eyes now, and this elderly woman complains that she had not even eaten good food. So that is why she has lost her eyes. And instead of believing in the reality that they've lost the eyes just because of working and while making these bangles, so she never wanted Savita to stop making these bangles, because of these bangle making, their survival is possible. So this was a problem that was relevant in each and every home which carried this bangle making profession, right? So while passing time, there was no improvement in their conditions, and they had been doing this hard work like from countless years, and they did not even have the ability to do anything else that they dream of, right? So writer even suggests them to form a cooperative, so that the men said that if they dare to do something like that, then they would be dragged and beaten up by the police and sent to the jail. So he says that if even we try to stop doing this work, which is not good for our families, then these people will not let us live, and they will just beat us, they will just drag us, and we'll be exploited and we'll be sent to the jail. So the writer felt at that particular time that they had no leader, and all of them are just working and working and working. So the writer suggests them. So that is the reason why he suggested them the cooperative, so that they can lead a proper life. But the author feels that there were two separate worlds. One that was of such families who were stuck in poverty, and they have the pressure of doing their traditional profession, and as they were born, according to the family in which they were born, basically. And on the other hand, there's a never ending cycle of money lenders, middlemen, policemen, who are actually giving uh, money to these people and helping them out, and solving their issues, right? Both these worlds had forced these young boys basically to follow the tradition. The young boys get the profession and become a part of the vicious circle even before they realize it. They are becoming part of that vicious circle where they're just getting over with their lives, where they are just forgetting their dreams, and they are just forgetting about the reality, the potential that they have, and they're just forced to do those things which are not meant for them, but still for the survival of their family they have to do it, right? So it meant that they were challenging these two worlds. And now author actually was happy to see that Mukesh wanted to be a motor mechanic, and he has the capability and he's ready to learn also that how to drive a car and all those things. And he even says that in not many years he even flew over Firozabad, as he had only seen cars moving around in Firozabad. His dreams were restricted to them only, right? So he says that I do not want to fly anywhere or what. I just want to drive here only, because you have seen just there are so many cars who just go here and there, and they can reach anywhere on time, and they're provided with so many resources, right? So basically, when we talk about this lost spring, it is telling us about the lack of opportunities that are being provided, lack of resources that are being provided, and lack of parents or family support for the survival of their families. They have to forget about their dreams, and they have to live the life as per their family wants, and so on. These are the things which are being discussed in this chapter, right? So I would request you people to just go through it, and then I'll just start with the next one. If anybody wants to know anything from the first chapter, that is the Lost Spring that we've done today, you can ask. Otherwise, I'll move further. Okay, now let's start with the next poetry. Next poetry is Keeping Quiet, which is written by Pablo Neruda, right? And Pablo Neruda is one of the famous poets, and he has even won the Nobel Prize for literature, right? And he has wrote so many things which are the symbol for desire and hope, and all his writings are very simple and very beautiful. So when we're going to read this poetry, that is Keeping Quiet. This Keeping Quiet is very beautiful poetry. What he is asking us to do is to just stay calm and stay quiet, right? So keeping quiet is what does it mean? It means the same, to stay quiet, not to make noise, leave everything, stand still, and be quiet, relax, right? So this is all about this keeping quiet. And when we talk about this keeping quiet, written by Pablo Neruda, where he actually wants everybody to just forget about the stress and the harm that you people are providing to the other human beings or the animals and environment. He just suggests to maintain that peace and harmony, and what it requires, how you can maintain that peace and harmony. For maintaining that peace and harmony, you have to stop the work that you're doing at the same time, and firstly introspect yourself, uh, analyze yourself, right? And then you'll be able to actually maintain that peace and harmony, right? So this is the free verse poetry, where there is no rhyming scheme. Let's start with it, which is just written in a just simple manner within a flow, that he just picked up a pen, and when he just picked up a pen, whatever it was there in his mind, he just jotted down. Right. So let's start with it. Now let's read it out. The first stanza. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. For once on the face of earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. So, what poet is asking? Poet is asking everybody to count till 12 in their mind. And now over here, this 12 either represent the 12 hours, or it might represent the 12 days, or the 12 months, or so on. It depends, right? It depends upon the this number 12. But over here he says that it might depict any of these two, whether the hours of the day or 12 months. So he wants all of us to be calm and still and believe whatever we are doing. So what he's saying, he's asking people to unite together across the world, across the nation, so that they shall not speak their own language, and rather they all shall be quiet and speak the language of silence, because language of silence is common for each and every human being on this earth, on this world, right? So on this earth, sorry. So what we want is that what poet says, he says that I just want that each and everybody should leave the work that they are doing and stay still and do not speak anything. When he's saying that they should not speak their own languages, that means they should stay calm and they should not say anything. They should relax themselves, right? This will not even bring unity among all the humans, and this will even bring peace to the world, right? And he says, for at least one moment, no one shall move his arms either to signal anything or to fight or to argue with each other. What he wants that everything to be calm. You should be in a statue mode, right? He says, it would be an exotic movement without rush, without engines. We all be together in a sudden strangeness. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hands, hurt hands. So he says that when everything will come to stand still, everything will be statued. Then it will be a rare situation, because asking the whole world to stop working when you count after counting 12, which is like which is like impossible. But still he says that if everybody stands still, then it will be a rare situation, and no one will be in rush, and there will be no engines running, which means that many times what happens that we are forced or we are pressurized to complete the work, and then only we'll be paid the wages. So he says that right now, when after counting till 12, when you relax yourself, when you calm yourself, and you are not doing anything, then it seems that everything is at still, and nobody is working. So we will not find the people working under pressure, right? And they'll be just calm and they'll be quiet, and they'll be united in this strange environment. And it, in fact, it will be very strange if because it has never happened earlier. Nobody has even asked them to do such types of things. So no person would be actually harming any other person, other living being, or any other item, and not either for food or to earn his livelihood, so that they'll be able to earn their livelihood easily, and they do not have to kill anybody, nothing, because they are quiet, they are still, they are in the statue mode, they are not working, right? And he even says that all those people who are working endlessly, and they do not even get time to spend and to just take out a second for themselves, right? So they are just actually damaging themselves, and they're causing damage to their bodies. So which means that they should actually relax, and they should look upon themselves that what they are doing, right? And here he even wants them to stop doing the work. He asked the fishermen to stop harming the whales, which means that just relax and do not harm any of the whale by taking that whale out. And he even says that the man who's gathering salt, he says that stop gathering that salt. And why he says that? He says that when he'll stop gathering the salt, then only he'll be able to look at his hand, the hand which, while gathering salt, has been hurted, right? So here he wants everyone to just stop for a while in order to see and feel their achievements, right? That whatever they have achieved in that particular time. Now he says those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, world put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade, doing nothing. What I want should not be confused with the total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no truck to death. Now over here, what is he saying? He says that people who exploit the green wealth of nature by deforestation, या फिर mining के through, या fishing के through, या किसी भी ऐसी चीजों के through, the soldiers who use the weapons to kill the fellow human beings, all these things to be needs to be introspected, right? What are the consequences of their actions, why they are doing it? So they are merely doing their job or following the order basically though. So whatever they're doing, they are just doing because they've been asked to. But he says that I want them to just stop and think about it, that what they've done, the the harm that they've provided, right? So he even wants them to put a new clothes. That is, he wants them to, when he's talking about new clothes, he wants them to actually approach new things towards their life and realize that the killing of so many people is not a victory. So when he's asking them to put up new clothes, put on new clothes, he actually wants them to approach, adopt a new approach, basically, for living a better life, right? And even to realize that what they have done by killing so many people in is which is not a victory for them, right? Because they have destroyed the other's family, though they are following the orders. We are not saying that soldiers, why the soldiers are killing, and in fact they should stop. They are doing their duties, but this is what he feels. So over here he wants peace and harmony and peace and unity, so he's even promoting the same. And he wants everybody to unite as one and consider our enemies to be our brother. He wants each and every enemy to be our brother, and he does not want to stop our work, but he wants us to take some time out and analyze the result of our deeds, the work that we have done. He's not saying that do not work. He says that wait for some time, do not work for some time, and then start with a new approach. If we were not so single minded about keeping our lives moving, and for once could perhaps a huge silence might interrupt the sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. Over here, he says that all these human beings basically work endlessly with the aim of completing their task. If I have given a task to a worker, so if he is dedicated, he will definitely complete that work within the time period I have asked. So same are the human beings who are working endlessly with the aim of completing their task, because that has been asked by the officials, and they are even driven by the target of the survival and the threat of death. If they do not do, then they are being told that you won't be paid, or and if you won't be paid, then what will happen? Then they have to face the death, because if until and unless you're not getting anything to eat, you won't be able to survive. So they are in a mad rush to accomplish all their work. There's a competition going on to complete the work. Who will complete it? The person who completes first, he's given more work to do it, and the other person, when completes, gets the work. So they just keep on going. They're just working. So he says that perhaps if they pause for a while, if they just wait for a while, they can appreciate their achievements and their lives would become happier. So if they just pause for some time and they just try to introspect, analyze themselves, that what they have been doing, then they'll be actually able to appreciate the work that they've done till now. Right? He even suggests that by keeping quiet, we'll be able to understand the true purpose of life. And with this, we'll be able to understand that how to live a proper life. Perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Now I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I'll go. Earlier, he wanted everybody to count till 12, and now what he says, the poet suggests, is to take a teaching from nature. He says that learn something from nature. As the earth undergoes changes in winters, everything freezes, becomes lifeless, but after some time, the season changes again. And what happened? Everything comes back to life. So, similarly, let's take a pause and introspect in our lives. and so that it could give a meaning to our lives, and we'll be able to understand the purpose of our life. And with this we'll be able to give a rebirth. It will be similar to a rebirth, right? Rebirth of the soul. Because when you just relax and be quiet and calm for some time and start the thing again, you will definitely start it with a new approach. In fact, the poet has even conveyed to all the people the purpose of his message, that why he's asking them to pause for some time and then start working again. uh, s- and over here he even says that he will count till 12 now, and he walks out of the scene, keeping the scene open for the people on the word to experience this for times to come. He wants each and everybody to understand the importance of the time, and he wants everybody to take care of it. So at the end, what he did at the end, now I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I'll go. So he says, now I am counting till 12. Now it's upon you people, if you want to experience that time, so then you can count, you can stay quiet and introspect yourself, but I will leave, right? So this is the poetry Keeping Quiet, where everything has been explained about the introspection, how you people have to introspect yourself, and why it is required. If you will not introspect yourself, if you will not take care of yourself, what will happen? Then people will keep mocking you. People will basically will ask you to work more and more. There will be more exploitation, and all this creation of this nature will definitely undergo rebirth. And with this change of seasons, similarly, everything happens in Keeping Quiet. That Keeping Quiet will be a rebirth for the human souls, right? And with this, it will be giving a new meaning to our life. And the poet even says that he will count till 12 and ask everyone to remain quiet when he leaves. So why he want everyone to be quiet? Just so that you people, or each and every human being who's working since so many days and who's working endlessly so that they could earn wages and they can have the survival of their families. He wants them to please relax and just take care of yourself also. You can relax for some time. It's all about seconds. And if you just relax for some time, you'll be able to do it with a new approach in a better manner, right? So I would request you people to read out the poetry, just the poetry. And if you have doubt, you can just ask me. Beta, in the starting, he says that he asks you that now we will count to 12. Now he's requesting everyone to count till 12, right? But after looking at the things that people are working so hard and they're just working for the survival, and they need wages and all those things. So at the end, what did he say is, after explaining the meaning of the whole thing, that why he wanted everybody to introspect themselves, and with the help of introspection, they will be able to work in a better manner, and they will adapt a new approach. So that is why at the end he says that I will count, perhaps now I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet, because now he has explained the meaning, that why he wanted everybody to keep quiet and stay calm and still. And then he says that I'll count and I'll leave. The reason behind is that earlier he wanted everybody to count 12, and he wanted to explain everybody why he wanted them to count 12. He wanted them to introspect themselves, to analyze themselves, to know about themselves, because they have not even look they have not even seen their own bodies. They've hurted themselves while working. So he wanted them he wanted each and every human being to just take care of himself or herself, and to just look yourself first, and relax for some time, and then start the work again. And when you will work again, you will definitely start that work in a very good or a new manner. And this generally happens with each and every human being also. Like, you people are learning anything, if you people are studying, let's say, chemistry since morning. So if you keep on studying chemistry for a day, two, three, four, it will be a monotonous type of environment for you, and you'll get used to it. And many times it will be that it will be difficult for you to understand few things when you are just reading one particular subject or learning one particular subject. So what happens, that that is the only reason that why we switch on to the other, so that we maintain that balance and we do not get bored. So over here he says that they cannot switch their job every time, but he wants them to just take out time for themselves for a minute or two, relax, and then work, and then start again. And when they'll be starting it again, they'll be starting with a new approach, right? So this is the reason that why he says this, that firstly everybody will count 12, and then he will count 12 at the end. Okay, guys, we'll continue the next poetry in the next class, as this power cut at my place, and my phone's battery is almost over. Just left with 2%, and I won't be able to continue with it. So we'll continue on Wednesday, right? And till then, I would request you people to just go through these two one the chapter and the other one is the poetry. And then in the next class, I'll try to wind it up. The chapters all which are there in your syllabus, I hope the deep water and this a thing of beauty. And what else you have? Can anybody just please let me know right now so that I am prepared with it? Anybody, please? You people have not received the syllabus from the school?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then that's okay. Then that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, Arshita, yes, you've sent it to me, but I'm not able to find it out here. So that is why I was just asking again, or either just send me again. I would request you to please send me again. Okay, then I'll just plan and I'll do it, right? Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. Good afternoon. And I'll share the notes.